Ever wondered how a real cut-your-own Christmas tree farm works? Well, today, we're getting the full behind-the-scenes tour. Folks, today I am at Irwin Farms Christmas Trees. I'm here with the owner, Paul, and he's going to show us around his Christmas tree farm, tell us a little bit about the farm history, and at the end, I'm going to go out and cut myself a Christmas tree. There she goes. Irwin Farms cut your own Christmas trees. Why don't we begin inside the old milk house?
This door would be where you would enter if you were going to access the big bulk tank when we were milking cows. And you can see there's a little hole there in the side with the flap on it, was where they put the hose in to drain the milk tank.
Yep, I remember that on ours.
So come on in to our repurposed washroom for the dairy operation that we've converted into our little Christmas shop. And
so this room here was the milk house, I guess what you'd call it?
Yeah, this would be the milking part of the
milking parlor was in here.
Here.
And you can see the old pit right here. They got it covered up. So this was a double herringbone, double four herringbone.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so the cows would come in those two doors, and then they would exit out that door after they were milked. And this is the first season that we've repurposed this now kind of for an overflow, since we've started to attract quite a bit of clientele to come out to our farm for Christmas trees.
Tell me a little bit about the history of this dairy and this facilities right here.
These facilities were built back in the 70s when we outgrew the stanchion barn that we had in a barn that subsequently burned after this building had already been built. And then we built a freestall barn to house all the milk cows, and we milked approximately 60 cows twice a day in this parlor, and we were shipping milk out every other day. If you want to grab one, I probably should have some outside. If you don't take that, then you have to go full Clark Griswold on me.
She wanted to bring her hatchet.
No, I was thinking you just rip it out by the roots and then drag it in.
Only if there's a squirrel in it.
Oh, that's right. The squirrel has to be in it. That's correct. Or it wouldn't be the real deal. You're very welcome. Merry Christmas to you.
So this side had the bulk tank.
And then the wash station was there for all the milkers, to bring them in there, get them all washed there. That was also where the vacuum bottle was.
Yep.
And then on the back room there, where we have, I don't know if you want to go back there and look at the big wood stove. I have the wood stove back there now, but when we were milking, that's where the compressor was and the vacuum system was back
very
there.
similar setup to our own dairy. So this room has been repurposed as kind of your sales room now.
Exactly.
Offering coffee, hot chocolate, cookies.
All complimentary to come out to the farm. We don't really obligate anybody to take a tree. Just come out and enjoy an afternoon with us. Way to get your whole family out of the house and enjoy some wholesome Christmas time fun.
Very exciting.
And if you take a peek in the back, you can get a look of where we have there's the old Fisher.
Oh, you do got the fireplace
bear
back here. That feels good.
Yeah, that's it needs to be stoked a little bit, but that's how we keep the place warm.
Nice.
So that inspired us to because I was always kind of a fan.
Now he's repping the Irwin Farms hat. So tell me a little bit about the history of the farm and how you got into the Christmas tree business.
My grandparents purchased this farm in 1951. And subsequently, my father came back to raise his 5 children on this very farm in that white farmhouse that you've seen earlier. And then my grandparents just moved to a house that they built. It was part of the farm, but it's a separate lot now. It's still part of the farm, but it's a separate residence. And then when my dad was discharged from the Army, he came back to farm with my grandfather. And over time, then, they built up a pretty significant dairy, and that's how we ended up with the facilities that we have now in order to repurpose as a Christmas tree farm.
Okay.
And the farm itself encompasses about 290 acres of all of Irwin Farms is the size of the farm. So it really is a small family farm, and the good way to make a family farm really viable as a business is to have a specialty crop like a Christmas tree, or in Jason's case, he has, you know, a vegetable business, rather than trying to just rely on grain farming on such a small number of acres. And then over time, my dad decided that since his sons weren't really interested in milking cows, that he got out of the dairy business, left the pasture ground fallow, and then in the early 2000s I just got a wild idea that it needed to be repurposed somehow as something that would generate some sort of revenue for the farm, and thought Christmas trees might be a good idea. So in 2003, planted my first set of trees, and then really didn't start selling trees in earnest until about 2017. And that brings us to 2025, where it really has a nice, you know, organic kind of grassroots following of people that come out every year and look forward to picking and cutting, and then being able to come back every year and take advantage of just being outside. Even our nice furry little friends too. We love having
Dog friendly. My wife would love that.
And you can see these are really beautiful little trees that are coming up. I'm really happy with the quality of the product. It takes a lot of work. Christmas time is really a small segment of what actually goes on in a Christmas tree farm, between the planting, spraying, mowing. The mowing is something that just goes on, you know, all summer long, because the only way that makes the fields shoppable is if they are nicely mowed. People don't want to go out and stomp through, you know, brush and it's just tall grass, so we keep them mowed. And then the long term, something that keeps me busy all summer is the shearing. And when I say shearing, the shearing is shaping the trees, because pine trees especially don't naturally grow in this nice cone-shaped Christmas tree. What I've learned over time, though, is you can't make the trees too perfect, because that's not the market. People want trees that are unique to themselves. So I try to leave them a little bit wild while still trying to maintain the integrity of a nice cone-shaped Christmas.
So we're walking out into one of the Christmas tree fields, I guess you call it.
Yeah, this is what we call our front lot. So we have the front lot, we have the lot up on the hill, we call it up on the hill, and we have a section over to the left here, which is more of we call it behind the bees, or the fir trees, which I have a few Canadian firs there. And then as you see the wagon heading back through the woods, we have another 4 or 5 acres of.
And they're on the other side of that tree line.
Other side of that tree line there.
Okay. So, how many trees are you planting each year to keep more coming back?
I try to plant around 1,000 to 1,800 trees every single year.
Wow.
The unfortunate thing here in this part of Ohio is that the mortality rate on the seedlings, especially the bare root seedlings, is probably around 40%.
Is that right?
Yeah, so there's quite an investment in trees just to see them die. My mom used to say it takes 3 years for them to die, and that's probably about right. You know, the first year they look great, second year, you know, and then the third year they're gone. So, you know, you have to continually replant. I don't go at this as far as clear cutting and then replanting whole plots of trees. I just do an interplant, so you'll see trees of all sizes and ages scattered throughout all of my trees.
Different varieties too?
All the different varieties are also scattered here too. You know, maybe I'm rationalizing to myself, but I consider that to be a way for people to go on a little scavenger hunt.
Yeah,
you know,
makes it fun.
Makes it fun to see the variety and the size of tree that they'd like to select for Christmas. And it really is just a name your own adventure. You can come out and experience, you know, selecting and cutting a tree however you'd like it done. We give you a handsaw, you know, if that's your preference, or if you need us to bring the power, we'll do that. And one of the benefits of coming here is that you don't have to bring your tree in and drag it all the way back to the processing area. We have tree runners that come around and offer you assistance if you need assistance cutting a tree, and then to haul the tree back to the shop, so that then we can wrap it up, you know, process it, wrap it up, and get it ready for you to take home.
I see flags out here on these small trees. What does that represent? I see a lot of different colors.
The colors don't mean anything. It was just the color that I was able to get for a good price.
Okay.
But the reason that all the trees are flagged is because, believe it or not, there are times when we don't get in here to mow right when we should mow. And the only way that you can keep from mowing off trees, and I've mowed off hundreds, is to have a flag on every single tree.
Oh, that's
It
got to
has
be sickening when that happens.
It happens, and you just say, okay. And even when I'm out here shearing trees, I try to clip around the bottoms of these little trees, and believe it or not, I will snip them off. And then I just want to cry, but then I just move on.
Yeah.
So, but it's a really, a labor of love, and something that just gives me a lot of joy as I go through retirement, because what else do I have to do? And this farm is my sanctuary, and I just love to open it up during the holidays, just to share some of the joy that I have in caring for this land and these trees with people to come in and get their own personalized Christmas tree.
What would you say is your biggest challenge throughout the year growing Christmas trees?
The biggest challenge always in farming is the weather. It's the weather. I mean, the last 2 years, the drought has taken a really drastic toll, especially on our spruce trees. The spruce trees seem to really not tolerate a drought very well. The pine trees seem to do fine. The larger fir trees will make it through a drought, but the small seedlings, especially the small fir trees, just cannot tolerate the drought, and we will lose a lot of Christmas trees. You'll see out here, I've gone to planting a larger tree that comes in a 6-inch biodegradable pot, and the survivability on these, such as something like this tree, is a lot higher than what you will find if you just plant a bare root or a small plug. So that would be probably a 3-year-old Scotch pine.
And this is about the size they'll come, or is this
a little bit small in that, because that does have a summer's worth of growth on that tree.
That tree's about 18 inches tall, it looks like. Almost 2 feet.
Here is a nice little fir tree, canane fir, that is struggling to make it. And then we have some white pines over here. This is the white pines would have come from the Union County Soil Water Conservation District. They have a tree sale, and I do patronize them just so that they continue to offer that service to the rest of the community. I'd hate for them not to sell out of their trees and then not offer that as a service to the county in future years. But here's another nice little fir tree. This one looks like it could be nice. Now, what you'll see here, that is from the deer.
Oh boy.
And
are they nibbled on it, or is that from a scraping with the rack?
They scraped them with the rack. And so that is besides the drought, probably nature damage, whether it be deer, insects, fungal diseases are big challenges.
There's a lot more to raising Christmas trees than just planting a tree and then harvesting it 5 years, 6 years, 7 years later when it's time to sell them. It's year-round, isn't it?
It's year-round. I mean, I do after Christmas. I will have a little break between now and probably the first week of April, because that's when I start planting trees.
Okay.
But even then, after we're done selling trees, the next thing that has to be done, let me see if we can find a case here, is I don't see one here right now.
But I keep seeing these dry spots, and it makes me think of a deer bed.
Yeah,
that's just where a tree was.
There was a tree here. Now this is a nice one, because somebody either cut the tree off, low to the ground, or my son has been through and cut that off. We'll see one up here. The job that we have to do right after the Christmas tree season is we have to go through and cut off the stumps.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because like this one,
that was a big one, wasn't it?
That is a lawnmower killer.
Oh yeah.
Because when the grass gets tall, you don't see the stumps, and that's really jarring to hit that with a lawnmower.
I can imagine.
So we make sure. So if we sell, 700 trees, that's 700 stumps that we have to go through and cut off.
I was just getting ready to ask you that. As an average year, about 700 trees a year right now?
Between 600 and 700 trees, which is beyond my wildest dreams. I never thought that I would, I'm a member of the Ohio Christmas Tree Growers Association, and I would go to their meetings, and people would always talk about how many trees that they sold in the season. And when they started talking about 600 or 700 trees or even higher, I'm like, that's ridiculous. There's no way that this small little farm here in Union County could sell that many trees. And believe it or not, as our following has grown, we've been able to and that really is we're at the limit of our bandwidth. 700 trees over 7 selling days is about all that we can do.
And it wasn't always like that. You were telling me earlier that around 2017, Or no,
when-
2021 is when it really started taking
really
off, right?
started taking off. That
Okay.
we had a significant boost in tree sales, mainly word of mouth. You know, we do a lot more social media advertising, which seems to be the place that grabs people's attention the most, rather
Okay.
than any other
Yeah.
avenues of advertising.
I forgot to mention this outfit you're
Oh.
wearing here. You and your fiance was
Yes,
wearing the same outfit.
Same thing. You know,
Very nice.
she feels that boosts our credibility as being the Christmas tree people.
Very festive.
Very. That's right. Try to
And
make
if you didn't notice, he gifted me and Natalie one of their Irwin Farms hats, so I'm going to be repping that the rest of the today. So Paul was just explaining that this is what a tree would look like that's not sheared or trimmed to a Christmas tree shape.
Yeah, as opposed to something like this, which this tree has had to undergo some pretty severe pruning, as you can tell by the leader here. Now that will put a whirl on and continue on and make a really nice Christmas tree. But I had to do some pretty severe, what we call shearing to this tree, but not anything like leaving a tree in its natural state, which is what this one would be. You know, that's probably a 10 or 12-year-old tree that's never, it might have been sheared some in its younger, but not now. But these trees don't go to waste. Believe it or not, some people will buy this tree could be someone's perfect tree, and I'm not going to argue that. But what we will turn this into, if we, as the years progress, is this will become wreaths or garland.
Okay.
So I have a wreath making machine and a garland making machine, and we can just trim these boughs off and incorporate that.
Well, that's
into
great.
our
So no tree's going to go to waste here on your farm. When they get too big or ugly and no one wants to buy them, they aren't going to stay out here.
We don't
repurpose
ever
them.
just cut down or waste a tree unless it is completely diseased.
Okay.
And then at that point, if it's diseased, you want to get it out of the field and disposed of, mostly by burning it. So
Right.
that you
Well,
don't
these
spread that.
diseases potentially spread.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Similar to
Especially the
vegetables.
fungal diseases. That's why after planting, before we get mowing earnestly, we do spray the trees, and we try to spray them with just organic fungicides.
Okay.
Copper is the primary fungicide that we'll use. And if the insects get really bad, there's really nothing we can do other than to use some of the more synthetic insecticides to protect the trees from damage.
Is the spraying for fungal diseases and insects take place spring through fall? I mean, what's the heavy time?
We can only, it takes about a week to spray, because there are at least 10 to 12,000 trees on the farm. So to get them sprayed, it'll take me a week, and we want to try to get in 3 sprays. So at the end of April, mid-May, end of May, early June are the 3 sprays that we want to do. And then in June is when the shearing starts.
Okay.
And if you think about trying to shear 10,000 trees, if it takes you 30 seconds to a minute to shear 1 tree, you can see how much time we spend out here trying to produce the perfectly shaped tree.
That is a lot of time.
It's a lot of time, but
it's all manual labor for you, isn't
it's
it?
all manual. There's no mechanization really. There are tools that help to reduce the amount of labor, but I found those to do more damage to the trees than they really help.
Interesting.
So I add a personal touch to my trees. Every tree gets some love from me every season, every
Nice.
spring.
Another thing that Paul was telling me about earlier is that when he started planting all these Christmas trees, I call them Christmas trees. They're not Christmas trees. They're pine trees, or
Pine
evergreens,
trees.
whatever. They're all on 7-foot centers, right? You want to elaborate on that a little bit more about what you would do differently if you were starting over?
Yeah, one of, like I said, the areas that we spend a lot of time is in the spraying, and it would be nice if we could get a machine through here to help to not necessarily automate, but to take up a lot more of the labor. Something behind a tractor, or a blower of some type that could help get the treatments on the trees. And the trees are so closely spaced now that really the only practical way is to spray them by hand using backpack sprayers. It's not really a sprayer. It's like a leaf blower that creates a mist that you spray onto the trees. And the pine trees are the most susceptible to diseases, although spruces also have, there's a little spruce right over there that, that if I wouldn't be treating it, the whole around the bottom of it would be brown or purple because of this fungal disease.
Oh,
I think it's
wow.
called rhizoptera. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but we have to treat for that. The fir trees, the cananes, are pretty resilient, but still I want to make sure that I'm protecting them. Deer are the biggest threat to our fir trees more than the diseases or the insects. But they still require me to do scouting periodically, regularly during the spring, summer, fall, and then take corrective action the next season. Because if you do get a fungal infestation, it takes at least 3 years to get it back under control.
Wow.
Yeah. So you have to be really vigilant, or you are fighting it for years to come.
So between fungus, insects,
weather,
grass, weather, deer.
But that's farming.
Exactly.
It's farming, and every farmer has the same challenges.
Yes.
Maybe
Christmas different trees, forms of it, but
Christmas trees are not unique to the challenges that every farmer faces in order to produce a crop for their customers.
We got a family of 4 cutting down this Christmas tree that me and Paul were standing by just a minute ago, making family memories that'll last a lifetime. Cutting it down with a handsaw with their little kids. Mom's taking all the pictures of the kids around the Christmas tree. That's what it's all about right there, folks. Paul, you mentioned that you have a lot of family involved in the business.
I couldn't have this tree business here without my family. They're so gracious in spending their time during the Christmas season. They don't help as much during the regular farming season, but during Christmas season, it is all 100% family or extremely close friends. I don't have any employees on the payroll. I just rely on the good graces of my family members, brothers, sisters, nieces, nephews, and their spouses. And without them, we wouldn't really be able to do this. And it really, if you're looking for a place that is completely, family run, family supported, it's here at Irwin Farms Christmas Trees.
Awesome. And how many do you think it takes to help you keep a day like this operating?
That's the great thing, is that I don't even put out a schedule for people to come and help. They just organically show up and seem to know exactly when the peak times are that we're going to need the most help. When we open is always a critical time, but it probably takes at least a dozen people at a time to come and help during the heavy selling periods of the day.
That is awesome that you have that much family willing to help.
Yes, they are wonderful, and I'm hoping that somebody expresses some interest. As I age out of being able to do all the heavy lifting, someone is going to take a lead role in the succession here to keep the Christmas tree business going.
Good deal.
The most critical participant or the person that contributes the most to the actual growing and maintaining the trees is my son Shane. He's one that I really wouldn't be able to do this without, because he is dedicated to all of the jobs that are the least enjoyable, including the planting, the mowing, and of course the spraying. He doesn't do as much of the shearing, but the spraying is a big job, and he is the biggest helper that I have that makes this really work.
Do you think he has interest in continuing this on beyond you?
He seems to be mixed, but I keep working on him to see if maybe he's the next in the line of succession to take on this enterprise.
And he's out here helping today somewhere.
He's helping. I mean, the tree shaker weighs a lot, and when he was moving it out of here, he says he tweaked his back a little bit. So that's put him out of commission, or I would have him here on the camera with us.
Right.
Yeah.
We've got a couple unique items here. This is their easy as 1-2 tree, and they have a machine outside that drills the hole with a tapered drill bit, and you can see this is tapered, and then the tree just wedges down on that, and it's going to be perfectly centered. So that's pretty cool. Then they got these little watering elves. It's just basically a spout with a funnel on it for making it easier to give your tree water. And then back here is where you make all your garland, you said, right?
Yeah, this is a mechanical garland making machine. And the way this works is that the spool up there in the front is geared so it continues to spin. So as you as you feed this string will feed all the way through, and then as I lay the boughs on here, I've wrapped them, see how the wire wraps around there?
Yeah.
And see how the table, when I push it, see how that turns? And so it's going to pull,
all one unit.
It's going to pull this through, and I just continue to lay boughs on here and wrap the wire, and it's going to continue to pull it through until I get a nice garland, and it will go and eventually wrap around that spool, and I can make garland as long as you want. I just made a 35-foot piece of garland.
Is that right?
For someone.
Will this make a wreath also?
The wreath table is here. This is where we make the wreaths. This is how they start, is with this ring.
Okay.
And then she's got this one partially made, so you can see that she lays the greenery in there, and then you place these clamps in here, and then as I push this down, you see it's going to bend those over and close that in. So we do one that's already made here, so you push it down and see it will close it completely up around the greenery and hold it securely until you get a wreath like that.
That's awesome. Well, Santa had to step out for a minute, and we got Paul and Bethany here together. Thank you so much for having me out to your farm today. I had a great time and learned a lot, and I appreciate you sharing your story with me.
It's been our pleasure, and I just wanted to introduce you to Bethany, who's my betrothed, and she's the one that manages the tree shop and be the one that would greet you and provide you with all of the amenities that we have in our shop, including all the complimentary refreshments that are available here at the farm.
Well, thank you very much. You did a fantastic job.
Thank you very much, Jason.
This is the size of tree I'm looking for. I don't like this style of needle. I'm not sure what kind these are, but I want a nice small one. Little Charlie Brown tree, maybe this size, no bigger than this, about 5.5 foot. But I think my wife likes this type of needle.
Charlie Brown tree.
Yeah. All right, I think we found ourselves a tree. What variety of trees are these out here?
We've got spruces and we've got pines. These are spruces.
Okay. How old do you think they are?
I think they grow about 1 foot a year. That's what I've been told anyway. So these are probably, I'm guessing 5 to 7 years old.
I don't know if this is my wife's favorite type of tree, but I do have my daughter with me helping me pick one out. So we're gonna go with one of these this year. Way back here in the corner. This is the first one we looked at. I think we're gonna go with this one. We good?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Let's cut her down. Alrighty folks, that's gonna wrap up my visit here at Irwin Farms Christmas Trees. I had a fantastic time getting to know Paul and Bethany and the rest of their team. I learned a lot today. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned something as well. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you all again next time down on the farm.